Alright, what we're going to do today is can some wort. So, we're going to do that by just doing a basically just a really small beer, like a 2-gallon beer. So I have 3 pounds of grain here, and maybe 2 gallons of water, give or take. And our temp's up to 159. And basically we're just going to do like a brew in a bag of beer. And then we're going to move that beer. I'm going to boil it, no hops, probably for about 45 minutes or so to boil off the DMS. And depending on how much water I lose, I can add water to bring back my volume to the or at least bring the volume and the gravity to where I want it to be, which is going to be about 1040, maybe 1035. So that's pretty good for your starter wort. But more importantly, what we're going to do after that is we're going to add basically that unhopped wort to little canning jars, and then we're going to can them. So we'll basically just totally sterilizing that beer or that wort that's in there. It's going to be sterile coming out since it was boiled. We're going to take it one step further and go ahead and can it. Under pressure, heated pressure, and that'll make your wort 100% sterile. And then when it's time to make a starter, you can just add the cans straight into your glass jug or however you make your starters, and then that way there's no. I mean, you could make a starter in 5 minutes instead of having to boil dry malt extract or however else you do it. One thought that I had on this is I've done this before, but one really good way of doing this, and probably really simple, is let's say you're making a blonde or something, maybe even a lager or something, and make an extra gallon or two, and just drain that beer after you boil it for an hour. I mean, there's going to be some hops in there, but when you're making a starter, there can be hops. It doesn't really matter. You just don't want to add a really hoppy starter into, say, like a lager or something that's not going to be hoppy. But just to take that, make an extra gallon of beer, add those to the canning jars, and then when you go to and then go ahead and can those. So if you did that for every few brew days, you could actually always have fresh wort ready to make a quick starter. So we're gonna go through the process. I'm at 162, so I think that's more than plenty. So start dropping these. Dropping those in there. Let me grab a. Basically just going to make a brew in a bag. Nothing super exciting about this. Alright, so kind of shooting for a lower mash, somewhere around 150 or so, but not too terribly important. So alright, well, I'll come back after I've mashed this for about an hour, maybe not even that, probably just 45 minutes or so. And once that happens, I'm going to bring it up to a boil and boil it for about 45 minutes or so, and then put them into the cans and into the canning jars and start canning them, essentially. So, alright, well, I'll get through that process soon. Alright, so just added in some yeast nutrition, and we're almost here at the end of the boil. Probably got 5 minutes left or so. And here's my canner. I'm just preheating some water up in it, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get the wort into these jars. I mean, obviously I don't have like a ball valve or anything on this little pot, but I think I might end up using this guy right here, just scoop it and dump it in. So alright, I got 3 of them canned up. Yeah, it's pretty easy with this thing. I'm just dumping it in. But I had kind of a revelation, and I might try it with just one of these cans and see what happens. But this is basically, these things are pretty, I'm assuming pretty sterile. I mean, they're vacuum sealed inside here, so I'm assuming that they're pretty sterile. So you're I think I could just dump the hot wort, which is, you know, probably 200 degrees, give or take, straight in there, and it would just self-seal itself. And it's kind of like a no-chill method for this canning of the wort. I'm not sure if it would work or not. I mean, you would know if you got an infection because these cans would start blowing up. So I'm going to try that with one can. Just can it and leave it in a trash bag or something and see if it actually blows up or anything. So that might actually do the trick. Since you're pouring basically boiling water in there, it kind of sanitizes it as it goes in, and then you leave it, you know, to cool down on its own. So I don't think anything's surviving in there. But I'm just going to go ahead and can him the way I've done it before and I know it works. So, alright, I'll show you guys when I've got all these canned. Okay, got it all done here, all canned up. One bad thing is, that I kind of forgot about, is that it does leave a little bit of, that brew in the bag leaves a lot of debris at the bottom. So it's in the bottom of all the cans. So when I dump these into whatever I'm going to make my starter in, I just don't just leave the little bottom bit. And this is going to be the one that I didn't can, just to see if there is an infection in there or anything, if it does end up growing. But I also have a starter going from Brett, from the dregs from Brett. It's been in there for about a week or so. And I'm just going to pitch that entire thing into that big boy. It's just doing like a step-up starter. So, all right, I think that's about it. So, yeah. So when I do my next when I have to do my next starter, I can just pop those open and dump them in. I'm good to go for a little while. All right, later.